Hey everybody, Papa Wiggs here with Wiggs again. Uh, Doing a head-to-head again. This time we thought it would be good to debate uh,
Teammates.
teammates in the backfield. Sorry, I was having a brain fart there. So we're going to talk about Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Ekeler on the Commanders because this is going to be an interesting one this year in regards to how they split the reps, who's going to be more involved in the passing game. I mean, if you look at last year's stats from 2023, they were really close. Eckler had a little bit of an edge on the receiving yards, but not really that much. What, 60 some yards maybe? He had 436 and Robinson had 368. Rushing yards, Robinson had, a little bit over 100 yards more than Eckler had 733 and 628. And then they were even Steven on rushing touchdowns, and Robinson had four receiving, and Eckler had one. So Robinson, had the edge last year. Obviously, the year before, as you can see up here, Eckler definitely had the better year. But the thing you got to keep in mind with that is that was also the year that Robinson got shot. So, so that would had an impact of where he was, in that offense and stuff too. I believe 2022 was his rookie year
Yep.
too. So listen, I think this is a gonna be a great a great duo to keep an eye on throughout the year. I know a lot of people think seem to think that Eckler's going to be the guy. I don't. I think Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be the guy. I really think, and hear me out. I think. Don't get me wrong. I think Eckler is a great running back, right? But hear me out. I think that Eckler um, is coming to a new team. I mean, obviously Robinson's on the same team. They got a new coaching staff, so they're really starting from scratch. But listen, I think the coaching staff loves Brian Robinson. I think he's gonna be given. I think he's gonna be given most of the touches rushing. I really think Eckler he's gonna be involved. They're gonna he's gonna play series where Robinson gets a break. I kind of see Eckler kind of being reduced down to more of a maybe in a passing situation role in the red zone. So he might tap into Brian's touchdown production a little bit. I got to give the edge to Robinson though when it comes to you know breaking off one at any given point. I think Eckler's getting up there in age. And I think at any point you give Robinson the ball and he can break it off for 80 yards. And I don't think Eckler has the ability. I don't think he can. He's going to be able to do that as much, like he used to, and stuff. He's getting up there. I think his legs are catching up to him and stuff. So I really think that this is going to be Brian Robinson Jr.'s job to lose. I think he's going to be more active in the offense. I don't think it's going to be, like an 80-20 split. I think it might be more like a 60-40 type thing. Now, I don't think it's going to be quite 50-50. I think it's all going to depend on, where they feel comfortable using Eckler and stuff. The other reason why I give the edge to Robinson is, Eckler, um, he's getting up there. I kind of wonder if he's going to be able to stay healthy all year. Um, I think that's the other reason why Brian Robinson's going to get more. Um, he's going to be more involved because I think they're going to want to try to keep Eckler fresh throughout the year, given his age and stuff. So I'm a huge fan of Brian Robinson. I think he's a big sleeper this year. I really do. I think that he has the ability to come out, and I think he's definitely going to be a top 20 running back this year, with the potential to even move up higher. Um, because he's going to be involved in both the passing and the rushing, and stuff. So I just think that he's going to have a little bit bigger role in the offense than Eckler.
For me, it's really hard to judge because I think both these running backs are really good running backs, and I think at any given point, either one of them could pop off for a solid run or catch the ball and have a solid receiving um, touchdown or catch it and go for a lot. It's just hard for me to judge, and it's one of these backfields like that I like to kind of compare to like a Tony Pollard and Spears one, where really I think you could just go with whoever has the hot hand in the game, and it may not even ever be truly consistent because one game it could be like, oh, here's Brian Robinson with 80% of the carries, and the next it could be Ekeler with 60 because he was just the hotter hand at the time. Um, I don't know. I think either way, Robinson will be a little bit better at the end of the year from a point perspective, just because I think he'll have more touchdowns. But overall, it's just a really tough backfield to judge because these are two really talented running backs, and they both are explosive at any given point.
Nope, I agree with you on that. Here's the other thing I want to point out too with this is that I think, you know, and this goes back to, what Wiggs was saying, but and Wiggs is a real kind of stats guy. I think, and this is just my opinion, I think you're starting to see a slow decline in Eckler. And if you look at the yards per carry, over the last couple of years, last year he only averaged, 3.5 yards a carry. So last year Robinson averaged over 4 yards a carry. Um, and I know some people might say, well, that's not a big difference. Really, it is a big difference and stuff. So, and you've slowly seen, his yards per carry kind of, go down over over the years. I think that you also last year you didn't see him as involved in the passing game. Um, you know, Now it's hard to know what his involvement will be this year, right? You know, um, and granted, he missed 3 games last year, so that had a little bit to do with it as well. But um, again, I just think this is the other reason. I think that Robinson's going to be given more of an opportunity. Is they're bringing in a rookie quarterback. They've got a young core right now, and I think that they want to build around this young core group on their offense. And because let's be honest, if Eckler doesn't have a great year this year, there's a very good chance that Eckler's not going to be back with the Commanders next year. So I think they're gonna be looking at building around this young core of players that they have and stuff as well. So, but again, I think Eckler still has value. I think he's still going to be active in it. I definitely think he's going to be active in the red zone. I definitely think Eckler's going to have a role in the red zone and the passing game and stuff. So I give the edge to Robinson. I think Robinson this year has a good chance of being right around 1,000 yards rushing. I know that a lot of people might think I'm crazy saying that, but I think that given that they got Jaden Daniels, yes, Daniels going to be running the ball and stuff as well. I still think that um, you know it you know the Ravens had some really good rushers as well. I think Robinson is. I think his rushing yards are going to go up this year, and his passing yards might go down a little bit because I think I could see Eckler being more involved in the passing downs. Given what he's done in years past and stuff, and I think that might be where his role is. So I and I see Eckler's rushing yards go down this year, compared to what he had last year, but I see his receiving yards going up. So I'm kind of flipping it a little bit here. That's just my opinion. And I think Robinson combined between receiving and rushing touchdowns, I think he could have about, around that 12 range. I really do. I think he, now granted, Jaden Daniels can take some away from him in the red zone, but I definitely think Robinson has the ability to get around 12 touchdowns combined. And I think he's going to be a surprise person in fantasy this year and is actually going to do better than a lot of people think he is.
I mean, I think both these running backs are going to do pretty solid. I do agree with you to the point where they might use Robinson a little more, just to get him kind of tuned in with Jaden Daniels. Because if Eckler has a bad year, like you said, that he could just be gone after this year. I think it was just something where they wanted to, build up their running back core, and they really did by bringing in Eckler. To your point with Eckler's production going down last year, though, it was kind of tough because they had a quarterback that was dealing with several injuries throughout the year, and then their line was horrendous last year. It was one of the worst lines in the league. And don't get me wrong, Washington's line wasn't much better, but it was better to the standpoint of the running backs could get loose, get the ball quite a bit because their offense really ran around Brian Robinson and Terry McLaurin last year. So, um, from a target and receiving standpoint, he was kind of around the same of what he's been in years past. A little bit down from the year prior in 22, but 22 he was just insane, and then the year before he was insane as well. But,
Well, and they got another guy I think on their team behind these two. I think it's Rodriguez, and I think Rodriguez is also going to be a guy that they're going to use. I think they might use him a little bit as well. I mean, last year they used him when he was playing. He ran into some injury histories, but I know that they're pretty high on this guy as well. So, um, to what you said earlier, Wiggs, I think they could definitely go with the hot hand. But if Eckler doesn't produce and he's not popping off a good amount of yards, and they bring in, and let's say Rodriguez goes in there and he's rushing for 5 yards a carry. I mean, they could easily put him in. And then McNichols actually played for. I know when McNichols was with Tennessee, he was really active on third downs. Um, Last year he was with San Francisco, and I think he was hurt.
the year before he didn't play with Pittsburgh. So.
The year before, but I do remember McNichols with Tennessee.
Yeah.
He was active in the passing game. I don't think he's going to have as big of an impact. I do think Rodriguez could have, could take away some there. So I do agree with you, Wiggs, that I think it comes down to who's got the hot hand. But I just got this. My gut's telling me, just like your gut was telling you in one of our other videos, that Brian Robinson is going to pop off this year.
He could, but I don't know. It's a tough backfield to judge. There's quite a few of them this year that are hard to judge, and for me, I mean, I think you go with youth and picking Brian Robinson in the draft, but I wouldn't doubt it if both these guys had good years and were top 30.
If I had to start one of these guys, I'd pick Robinson, every time over Eckler, starting, and Wiggs would tell you why, because last year.
I don't even want to talk about it. He trades me the guy, and then he gets hurt.
Yeah, but then what did he do the one game that you didn't start? First play of the game, popped off 75-yard run.
Oh no, that's when you were playing me.
Oh,
that happened when you were playing me that week.
So
within 5 minutes, he's already got like a 20.
Wiggs has got a love-hate relationship with Robinson because of him.
Yes.
So yeah. So anyways, but with that said, I definitely think from a fantasy perspective, I think Robinson has the edge here.
Yeah, and like our ranking showed a few probably weeks now back, we both had Robinson above Eckler. I think my gap was a little closer than yours, but yeah, I think he's clearly going to be the better option.
No, I agree. So with that, I don't have anything else to add. Wiggs, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, I think we'll sign off here on this one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Just one reminder here. Check us out on YouTube, Fantasy Fools PPR. We're out on Snapchat, X, TikTok, Instagram. Like, subscribe, share. If you find our information beneficial, please keep watching. We appreciate all everybody that tunes in and checks us out. We're not going to hit on everything, but there's going to be a lot of things we will hit on. So keep that in mind, and we just wanted to give everybody another option out there.
And on that note, we'll see you guys next time.